ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Tuesday. I hope you guys had a good start to the week and that you had a good weekend as well. So, as always, we're going to be seeing what I've forgotten to set up during this live stream while we are in the live stream. So, that was Unwanted Stranger, by the way, that we started with tonight. That's one of my songs, which you can get over at wingsofpegasus.com/music if you want to go over there. So thank you patrons for requesting that, and the cover videos for tonight, let's address those. Early doors, we have Parisian Walkways and Miles Away, so you can vote for whichever one of those you want to hear tonight, my version of either of those songs. Right, let me get the names of my patrons up on screen instantly because they make this all possible in the first place, and I'm going to see if by resetting it does it in the right order. It always just sometimes does it in a random order. It should say sponsored by the Wings of Pegasus patrons, but that happened at some point, but we're going through the names in a random order. So anyway, hello to you guys in the live chat room tonight. Who is in there? We have Ro, Pink Thistle, Steve, Bob, Corey, Billy, Tammy, Daisy, Melody Rocks, Ro, Joe, Anna, Morris, Mimi321, Laugh Out Loud, Can, Daisy, Diamond Girl, Teresa, PM112, Lisa A, Bob's in there as well. JM says hi. So hello to all of you guys in there, and thank you for joining me tonight. So let's get the likes goal up on screen as well, because I've kind of lost track where we are with the likes, the goals, and what we got, what we haven't got. So tonight it is set at 510, and I don't know whether that's at all related to last week, but 510 is what we are going to be aiming for tonight. And if we do hit that target, we're going to have Phil Jam number 221. So yeah. I was just thinking, if you put all of the Phil jams on a CD, that's going to take a while to listen to, because some of those jam tracks have been kind of 6 or 7 minutes, maybe up as far as 11 minutes. So yeah, that'll take quite a while to get through. But yeah, 221 for tonight, and let me have a quick look to be prepared. Oh, it's only 5 minutes and 4 seconds tonight, so that'll be a little bit easier to work into the live stream by the end, and we might have space for something else later on. So the next thing we need to get up on screen is the likeometer to see where we are at the moment. It is 228. So if you can leave a thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be very much appreciated. And we are approaching halfway, which is a very good start, but we'll keep on keeping on and see if we can get close to that 510 total. So the last thing to get up on screen is the donations tab, because you don't have to donate, just watching is great, and maybe hitting the thumbs up, leaving a comment and introducing yourself into the live chat room so that we all get to know each other. You know my name, but I get to see your usernames and pictures and things, so I can then see you with one stream and then another stream, and then I get used to the usernames, as you guys know. So with the donations, you don't have to donate, but some people can't resist, so I think it's important that they know between 45 and 60% goes to YouTube through the super chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal link, which you can find in the description below. But yeah, just watching is great, and that goes for the videos as well. You don't have to donate for an analysis video, and I get asked that all the time. People email saying, oh, where do I donate to put forward an analysis? And somebody asked me recently, either yesterday or the day before, they said, if I pay you, will you put my request on top of the list that you've got? And I said, no, I just add it to the list. So there you go. That's just how it works. That's how it's always worked, and just how it is. Sometimes I'll do a video where it's something that I'm getting emailed about a lot. And when there's a particular performance or something big that's happened and everyone's saying, oh, I saw this thing, can you tell me what's going on? And if I get loads of emails like that, obviously it's in my interest to do a video on it, to just stop all of the emails, so that all of these people asking, either it goes on for ages and yeah, it just kind of clutters up the inbox of requests all for one particular video. So yeah, that sometimes happens where I do a video on something that's happened relatively recently because of the amount of messages about it, but then we get back into the list after that. Right, I can see that there have been donations so far, but quickly, just to give an update as to what's been going on, yesterday, I was chatting with Shirley Lewis, and I have mentioned this for quite a while, and Shirley is currently on tour. Actually, the tour starts in 2 days' time, 27th of March. So it's Shirley and the George Michael Singers are on tour around the UK, and you guys can, if you are in the UK, check them out live. And it's not something that's like an impersonation thing, anything like that. This is genuinely the singers behind George Michael, so you get that sound. Anyway, I was talking to Shirley yesterday, and I'm still editing that together for release tomorrow night. And we did talk about loads of things, and I think we talked for over an hour now, which we always tend to do whenever we're chatting. We just chat for ages. But there's lots of interesting stuff in there, and actually stuff about authentic vocals and AI, and discussing things on that side of things. So I think maybe that might be more relevant for the authentic vocal channel. So maybe I'll put together a video for that from that particular interview. But I'll do a version for this channel and release that tomorrow night. And yeah, always interesting to have a chat with Shirley, and that's what I'm going to be doing after this live stream, just editing that together, doing that tomorrow, and then hopefully have it out at the normal time tomorrow night. So look out for that, because yeah, it's one of those videos that I occasionally do interviews on the channel. I got an email, I think yesterday or the day before, with somebody saying, oh, have you ever thought about doing interviews on the channel? And I have said that I have done them previously, but it's all about just working schedules and finding gaps as to when we can actually meet up and do interviews, because obviously we've got to organise 2 diaries rather than me just being able to do stuff. The other person has to be able to turn up at the same time. So anyway, Lisa A, I just saw go through, said, hi Phil, are you on yet? I'm not getting your feed. So hopefully you can, I always assume that you can hear me and see me. And I think that if you couldn't hear me or see me, you'd probably let me know. So yeah, I am definitely live. I'm definitely on the screen, and I'm looking at the YouTube feed, and I can see that I'm on there and I'm moving. It's always a bit delayed, but I can see that, yeah, at least the image is there and the sound seems to be fine. So yes, I have started. I am live. And I think when I am live streaming, and I don't know whether this is true or not, but there might be something on the screen that says live somewhere, so that people know that they're actually watching this live and that it's not in the future just on the channel, because sometimes people watch the video in the future and then think that they're watching it live, but it's not the case. So the thing is just to look out for. And I do always say at the top corner that the time there is, like, if you got to know first of all that I live stream on a Tuesday night at 11 p.m. and a Saturday night at 11 p.m. If you know that information, then the clock in the corner at the top left of the screen is the giveaway. So if it's a Tuesday night and then you type into Google time in London, England, and if it says that the time in London, England at the moment is 11:15 and 20 seconds, then you know that I'm live. I am on screen when you are watching it. So that's the way to just double check if you want to. Obviously, you have to go to Google, so just get another browser going. Just type that into Google. You'll see the time. If it's a Tuesday or a Saturday, then you'll know. And obviously, a Tuesday or a Saturday here in the UK, rather than in another country such as Australia, who have already gone into the next day. So yeah, just take that all on board to make sure that you know it's live. But there might be a little icon there. I'm not sure. So, right, yes, there have been some donations. So thank you guys for these, and I will get through them quickly. Joe just said, by the way, 220 jams at 6.5 average time equals 22 CDs. That's a hell of a boxed set. Might need to settle for a best of. So thank you for that, Joe. And yeah, I wonder how long you would have to spend listening to all of the fill jams if they. Oh, this is for somebody better at maths than I am. If you're listening to all of the jams and you don't take a break, how long would they last for? It would be like 6.5 minutes times, what did we say, 220 roughly. So yeah, somebody can figure that out and then divide it. 220 times 6 minutes divided by 60 in order to get the hours. Anyway, I'm just checking what's going on with my phone here. Okay, nothing. Right, I say nothing. It is telling me that I've got messages because my phone does that as well if I get donations on PayPal. So I just wanted to make sure that it is muted, not making lots of silly noises while I'm trying to do the live stream. But it's fine, and I can see on the screen that we have had donations on PayPal as well. So, Joe says 22 hours of listening to Phil Jams. So that means that if you wanted to sleep for 8 hours, you'd have to listen for a whole day and then go to bed and then continue listening the next day when you get up. So anyway, yeah, let's get into the donations because Purple Green donated $10 in the super chat window. Thank you for that. And that is a straight up donation. And Orlando donated $2 as well. Thank you for that, Orlando. The message is, hit that like button, y'all, with some thumbs up. So great idea there from Orlando. And it's easy to work out. 199 more likes we are looking for before the end of the live stream. Paul donated $2. Thank you for that, Paul. The message is, have fun tonight and spike the likes. Rock. So, thank you, David, as well, who's donated $5. And David says, Phil, maybe one day you could do a best of Phil jams at 3 minutes each. Much health and blessings to you and your family. So thank you for that. And yeah, well, the problem that I have at the moment is just time to do anything. So yeah, going through all the Phil jams and doing 3 minutes of each and kind of editing that all. Yeah, I haven't got the time to do that, unfortunately. They will just be at the end of the live streams. The other side of it is the whole copyright thing with the backing tracks, because I don't own them. I'd have to get permission in order to then put it on a CD, because a CD is something that you are going to sell. So it means that once you're selling something and you don't own the copyright to that particular sound, even though I'm playing over the top of it, then yeah, you have to have an agreement with the copyright owner. And I have said in the past that I know that lots of people release CDs and they don't have an agreement with the copyright owner in order to release that CD. But yeah, that's obviously a risk that they are taking, and it's not a risk that I want to take with any of my, because I get asked about my cover videos, whether, I was going to do an album years ago, putting the top, I think 10 or maybe 12 cover videos on a CD, but in order to do that, you have to have an agreement with all of the copyright owners, and even doing that through a third-party company, it still didn't come to anything. And it is understandable that you think, well, yeah, if you imagine everybody that's releasing their own cover CD has to have an agreement with the writer of the song, you think, well, that's going to be like the people who have written the songs will be inundated from people around the world saying, can I put your song on my CD? And I've done a cover of your song. Can I put it on a CD? And it will be never ending. So you think, well, yeah, but that's the process that you have to go through. So yeah, I know that a lot of people are taking a big risk by doing that, because if people find out, if their cover CD becomes very popular and the owners of the songs find out, then yeah, there's a potential lawsuit in that, because they haven't got permission to start selling CDs with songs on that they don't own. So yeah, the Phil Jams thing is difficult from that copyright perspective. The good thing about doing it on a live stream on YouTube is that the content ID gets flagged. So it means that the owners of the song or the backing track take the ad revenue for the live stream. So yeah, it all kind of works out. Anyway, let's now get back into those donations over now on PayPal, because we had a few over there, and it was Brian who donated, or Jennifer who donated £25. Thank you for that. And that was on Sunday evening, so a few days ago. And Cindy's donated £30. Thank you for that, Cindy. And there's quite a long message here, so let me try and get through this. So it says, I appreciated your in-depth Sunday analysis. It seems that whenever a singer takes a risk and things don't go perfectly, the general response is for people to say they are terrible or they have lost it. There have been many occasions where you have shown us that there can be other technical explanations for why things sound off that are not related to the singer's ability. I appreciate that you treat the person with dignity and grace and avoid this tendency to pile on. Thank you. So thank you for that, Cindy. And this would have been the last video that I did, which was on the Oscars. And in that particular case, it was Doja Cat, was the name of the singer. And I mean, I am tempted to do another video on that, because it is something that unfortunately makes the whole situation near impossible when we're talking about having performances that are post-edited and actually not what they were, and even performances that might be lip-synced or mimed, and performances that might actually be overdubbed. So people have done the performance and then they go in the studio, record a different vocal, maybe a different guitar solo, well, the same guitar solo but now played cleanly, and then they overdub that and then release it later on saying, oh, everybody, here's the live show from whenever it was from. And what you hear is actually not them playing from when they played, but you're hearing them in the studio, but they've put that sound over the top of the performance. So yeah, the problem with all of this is when somebody, and you know, with authentic vocal, hopefully we're going to start to be able to iron some of this stuff out. It's a never-ending cycle that you have somebody, like in that case, who has decided to sing totally live, and not just sing, you know, a song that is you know, not very well known or not very vocally demanding, all of these different things, but sung a song that everybody knows, and everybody knows the original singer of the song, but the person has thought, well, I'm going to sing it live, and they sing it live, and guess what, everybody then starts to slate that particular performance, but they're singing it live. And this is the problem, that when somebody genuinely sings live and they might miss a note, or in that case they're singing perfectly flat, and this is why I'm thinking about doing a follow-up video so that I can explain kind of what I'm talking about here, that the problem is people say, oh, why don't people sing live anymore? Why is it always post-pitch corrected? Or why do they lip sync? And all these different things. Here is the example of why people don't do it anymore. Because if you do it, and if you miss one or two notes, you're going to get slated. But then the people who aren't doing it get all of the praise. And they say, oh, what an amazing performance. And then it falls to someone like me, and currently I think maybe only me, because I'm the only one that points it all out. It falls to me to say, the reason this sounds so good is because it's not real. It wasn't performed like that. It's been overdubbed, or it's lip synced, or it's been post pitch corrected. So you're listening to something that has been corrected. So of course it's not going to sound wrong or out because it's been edited. So this is the problem, that all of those performances that are guaranteed to be perfect because they've been edited, they get all of the recognition and all of the applause and say, oh, what an amazing performance that was. And then I point out it actually wasn't what you think it was. The reason that it sounds so good is because it's literally been corrected. So all you're ever going to hear is correct. They've moved it all to where it should be, which would have happened to this live performance, but the person actually wanted to perform live. So you got to hear a live vocal. So yeah, this is it that I say in videos all the time about normalizing live vocals so that we know that somebody is singing live, but there isn't anything. And this is why I've started Authentic Vocal, because currently there's nothing that allows you to know when somebody has said, right, I'm going to perform without a safety net here, and I'm going to go and do it fully live. So you've got that performance. You've got somebody else who says, I'm not going to perform live because it's too risky and I don't want to maybe make a mistake. Those two performances, the general public don't know which one is which. And of course, guess what? This one over here, this fully live, gets negative reviews. This one here, that isn't live at all and post-pitch corrected, even lip-synced, that one gets all of the praise because nobody knows. So that's why Authentic Vocal was started by myself, so that hopefully in the future, and it's only just started, I only did it, last month, but I'm hoping that in the future, when people look at one performance, they'll see that this is the artist, the singer, genuinely singing this. So if a note gets missed here or there, it's because they're doing it. So people can at least take it with that, that information, and therefore judge it with knowing that this is a genuine vocal. This isn't something that has now been manipulated to sound as good as it can be. And yeah, on the other performances that are like that won't have the trademark on there. So anyway, yeah, that's my aim with Authentic Vocal. But it'll be a long journey, a long road to travel, getting the word out there about it and having it implemented. But update on Authentic Vocal, you guys over on Patreon, if you wanted to be involved with the email campaign and all that kind of stuff that Joe has set up, that is going to be launching on Thursday. That's when I'm planning to launch it. So look out on Thursday for a message there, and I'll put all the information that you guys will need in there so that we can get things rolling on Thursday. Like I said, we've not really started, so it's going to be a case of pushing it out there, getting the word out there a little bit more, and letting people know that it exists, so that hopefully in the future this kind of thing can be avoided, where a singer who's decided to sing live, all they get for that decision is negative press. You think, well, it should be the other way around, that the people that choose not to sing live and pretend to do something that they're not actually doing, surely that should be the negative thing. And the people that are genuinely doing it and say that they are going to sing live, that should be the thing that gets the positive reviews, because even if they miss a note or two, there needs to be something where people can appreciate that they are genuinely doing it live, because it takes a lot of guts, especially at a huge event, to do it like that. Knowing that, it's a big song and that you could well miss a note or two, but I think you've got to take your hat off to an artist that does that and to a singer that does that. So anyway, yeah, that's my hope for the future. But on Thursday, so look out for that on Patreon, you guys over there. Right, jumping into the PayPal window again, we've had another donation. This is from Tammy, who has donated £10. So thank you for that, Tammy. That is a straight up donation. And Lisa W has donated £10. Thank you for that. And the message is straight up. Now tell me, reference, or that's in inverted commas, reference to Paula Abdul. Thanks for everything, Phil. So thank you for that. And Steve has donated £5. Thank you for that, Steve. And the message is, how do you use triads when you are playing? So thank you for that, Steve. And I guess, the only time that I've really been conscious of triads is when you're watching instructional videos such as, Paul Gilbert, for example, where he would explain triads, and obviously triads meaning 3 notes, but when going through runs. So when you are, I'm just going to skip this advert. When you are playing, like, I'm never really thinking about anything when actually, like in the fill jams, I'm not thinking about anything to do with chords or triads, arpeggios, anything like that. I'm just kind of playing over or singing over what I'm hearing. And when I say singing, I mean just playing what I'm thinking of. Of course, there are going to be subconscious lines and runs that I'm playing that give a bit of light and shade to a solo, because you don't want it all to just be at one speed. And that's why when listening to a solo that is just all really fast, it means that it's kind of too much information. And it's exactly the same the other way around. If you're playing something really slowly all the time, then it's potentially going to be a bit boring, because people will think, well, come on, give me more than one note every 10 seconds. So you do have guitarists that don't play a lot of notes, but still it's not going to be something that they're playing the same note. If you take playing really fast as the example, say that we're getting 15 notes a second, and that continues for 30 seconds or a minute and a half. You switch off to that because you're just getting the same thing repeated all the time. I say some people are into that. I say that in general, the main population turn off to information when it's just the same over and over and over and over and over. So if you now take the opposite of that, to say, right, what if somebody's playing one note every 3 seconds or every 5 seconds, and they keep doing that? You've got the same problem, but just the opposite, that people will go, well, yeah, I'm just listening to one note every 3 seconds. People want the journey to be interesting, and that's what it is when you're putting a guitar solo together. It's a journey, so it means that there will be a lot of elements that are conscious and a lot of elements that are subconscious. And just reminded me of a comment. Somebody said, I think what you're meaning to say is unconscious when you say subconscious. And I replied to them and said, no, I do mean subconscious, because unconscious is when you've been knocked out. That's like when you're asleep. You're not functioning on any level, really, moving. So yeah, I said, no, subconscious is definitely what I mean in my videos, that it's muscle memory that is subconscious. It's under your conscious thought. So it's just, doing that. And that's why when you are playing a solo, you can play subconscious runs that you've, practiced for many, many days, weeks, months, years. And you can just keep on doing that, and your hand will do it. And, you can be watching TV, and, I've said that before, that if you're just looking at speeding up runs or getting muscle memory down, just do it while you're watching TV, because you won't need to think about it. The only conscious part of it is working out the run to begin with and playing it slowly, and then gradually kind of speeding up, getting your muscle memory used to it. Anyway, back to triads. So the only time that I've really thought about triads has only ever been when working out runs and having runs that are, for example, 3 notes per string. So when, I know I'm getting technical here, but when you're doing alternate picking, for example, if you go down, up, down, you've got 3 notes per string, and that means that you can then go to the next string in order to still have that alternate picking, the up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. But we're more talking about 3 notes per string rather than triads there. But these are all the technical things that you might have to think about when you are playing to begin with, and working out runs, and you might, triads might be useful for that. But again, because I never learnt to play knowing theory or knowing anything, I was just listening to Jimi Hendrix and other guitarists and then figuring out what they were doing. I was listening to it from a melody point of view, so therefore understanding triads for how they sound rather than what they're called. So then when you hear a song or a backing track, you hear the triads rather than having to figure them out first. So yeah, it's not really something that I use personally. And I know people say, oh, but, and if somebody were to go through the fill jams, for example, they say, oh, but you used a triad here and you used a triad there. And I'll say, yeah, but I'm not thinking about that. That's all something that you're calling it. But what it is frequency. It's melody. Those are notes. It's a sound. You don't have to attribute anything to the sound because I'm storing the sound. I'm not storing the theory. So yeah, I mean, it's a totally different, I guess, concept for a lot of people to grasp, is that, well, when you're listening to a piece of music, how do you know what to play? And the answer to that is because you can hear the music, so you know what to play. You don't need to know any information because the sound is the information. And I know, yeah, that a lot of people don't necessarily learn that way, that they need to know, right, well, what key are we in? And which chord are we going to? When do the changes happen? What's the time signature? And they need all of that information before they even do anything. Whereas, yeah, I think, well, if you've learned just to appreciate sound, then you produce the sound that goes with that sound. You don't need all that other stuff, because if you just focus on the sound, then it's always going to be right because you won't need any theory. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, the only time that I've really had it is from that point of view of more theory to do with playing technique rather than ever thinking about it when actually playing. So yeah, and some people say, oh, well, how do you know what to go to? Surely you've got to know the theory first. And you think, and my answer is no, because I go there automatically. And then people tell me what the theory is. So that's the way that it would work. You come up with the sound first, and you might play a triad, but you haven't played it thinking, oh, that's a G major triad. You're playing it just naturally, and then somebody says, oh, that's a G major triad, and they say, oh, well, thank you for telling me, but I was just singing the melody along with the sound. But anyway, there we have it. Thank you for that, Steve. Right, now we are, it looks like Parisian Walkways has 51% of the vote, and Parisian Walkways has lost out, I think, over the last couple of live streams, maybe even a few of the live streams recently. It's now gone up to 50 as soon as I say that. So we are half and half between Miles Away and Parisian Walkways. So whichever one of those songs you want to hear at the end of the live stream, just have a click on either of those at the top of that live chat room. So we are at 391 likes as well. So in order to have a fill jam for tonight, triads and all, whatever they may be, when we start playing, we need 118 more people before the end of the live stream. So yeah, we will keep an eye on that. Right, we are up to date in the PayPal window and in the super chat window. So thank you guys for the donations. You don't have to donate, but they are very much appreciated. And Cindy says, end the poll, Phil, as soon as Parisian Walkway pulls ahead again. So thank you for that. And that's not the way it works. I can't show favoritism for any particular cover video. So yeah, well, it might be the case that Parisian Walkways does win out. So we'll keep an eye on that and see what happens. So, right. Now, I know that we haven't had a troll corner in a long time, but I read something, and it is totally accidental that I saw this on Reddit, and it's one of those really long threads, and it said it had over like 40 comments, and it was somebody asking about my channel, and they were saying, oh, has anyone seen this guy, and who is he, what does he do? And I think it was actually somebody referencing a video that I did on Taylor Swift. And it might have been somebody who, might have been a fan and saying, oh, who's this guy? What's he doing? So we'll jump into this. It'll just be a very quick troll corner, but because we haven't been in there in a while, and we haven't heard the music in quite a while as well. So here we go into troll corner. See you in a second. And here we are with Mr. Troll. We haven't seen him in, I just realised. Now that he's here, I remember that face. So, with the troll, whole troll thing, this not necessarily being on my channel, but people commenting. A lot of people were saying to this particular commenter who have seen my channel, which is great. They say that every video that he does is a request. And I don't know, some people just don't understand that. When people request a video, I do it. So I'm not going out there trying to, cherry pick particular videos to do. And the person, I think in their first comment said, why is he choosing these artists? He's doing it just to make money, and, that along those kinds of lines. So saying that for example, with Taylor Swift, the only reason I'm doing that is to try and make money. And I mean, first of all, if you're looking to try and make money from videos on YouTube, don't use other people's copyright material, because they will copyright claim that. So you will have to, go through trying to dispute all the time with, especially those huge bands. If they say, well, no, and this is why it is risky, because you can get a strike on your channel if they say, well, no, we're still going to block your video and remove your video from the channel, all that kind of stuff. So it is risky. So people don't know really how YouTube works on that side of things. But saying that, oh, he's only doing that artist because of who that artist is, to try and get lots of views and make lots of money and all that kind of stuff. So on the flip side, they obviously haven't watched my video or any of my videos, because I say they are requests. So on the flip side, what they're actually saying is, what I don't believe is that this person has been asked to look at this artist. So when you flip it around that way, because it's been requested, you think, well, of course somebody's going to request for me to take a look at that artist, the biggest selling tour of all time. And this is where it gets into a deeper level, that if I were to feature an artist just because they are who they are, and I'm trying to get lots of views and steal some of their fans, let's say that I'm even trying to do that in the first place, I would not be pointing out what I'm pointing out. I would be saying, aren't they amazing? Oh, they're great. They're fantastic. I love this performance. Please like and subscribe. And the next video I do, guess what? Is going to be the same thing on either the same big artist or another big artist. And I'll say, oh, I love them. They're fantastic. Because I'm trying to get their audience. Because if they're the biggest selling artist in the music industry at the moment, the last thing you want to do is say something that their fans or that fan base might not like. So in that particular case, again, it doesn't make any sense to say, oh, the reason he's done this video is to try and get views. You think, well, that's the opposite, because surely when you're looking at a population, the most popular artist, surely you want to get that audience on side. Whereas, because I'm doing things objectively, I'm not bothered about that. So and finally, again, to that point, the only reason that you're doing it is for this reason, because of that artist name. I mean, what I'm doing is an analysis video. So it's not about the artist, it's about what is being claimed and whether that is true or not, and I'm going to objectively show whether something is true or not. And in that particular case, it was, I mean, Dave Grohl that really started it when he insinuated that Taylor Swift wasn't singing live. And of course, that then kicks off in the mainstream media, and then people message me asking, oh, well, can you show if it is true, if it isn't true? That's where all of the requests came from. So then I point out exactly what's going on. And again, it's a requested video and it's a requested analysis video. So the thing that I'm looking at is proving one thing one way or the other. So it's very much like an investigation. And it's like news. When somebody's featured in a news program on BBC or whatever, people don't write to the BBC and say, oh, the only reason you're reporting on that person is because you're trying to get views. It's like, no, it's news. And especially if there's something being claimed that is untrue, that is now newsworthy. That's potentially people being misled, and especially in the music industry, people being misled and spending money on tickets thinking they're getting one thing, but actually they're getting the other. So yeah, it couldn't be further from what this person was trying to claim. But I mean, the good thing is that I think people that watch my channel, and you guys in the live chat room, you understand what the videos are, that they're all requests. And sometimes I will, feature a band that might not be very well known and aren't a huge name. But yeah, it's my channel. I'm going to do that. It's not something where I'm just featuring huge artists all the time. And you guys that have watched for any length of time will know that. And it's also not a witch hunt. It's me just pointing out what's going on from the requested video. So anyway, that was it. And yeah, I guess people that don't know the history behind it maybe don't know that I got loads of requests to do it. And somebody did actually comment on that saying that not only did he do a video to begin with, but because of the backlash and all of the requests from Taylor Swift fans, he did another video. And I did, looking at the song that they wanted me to look at, the next one in the set, because they said, oh, can you look at that? Because obviously you've only picked the one that was lip-synced. So then I did the next song, which was also lip-synced. And then they said, oh, the only reason that you chose that was because it wasn't her playing piano or acoustic guitar. So then I looked at one of those performances, actually acoustic guitar and piano, and showed that it was auto-tune. And they said, oh, the only reason that you... So I think I might have done either 3 or 4 videos. And the last one, I said, this is going to be the last one, because I'm going to now compare an hour of the show to another hour of the same show, in a different country, on a different month. So that was the final video that I did to show that it is exactly the same show. The same backing tracks, and to the 100th of a second, it's exactly the same show. So yeah, that was it. All you can do is point it out objectively, and then the fans might say, "Oh no, that's not fair," even though fairness doesn't come into it when you're talking about objectivity, because it is what it is, regardless of whether you think or feel it's fair or not. So yeah, you do it once, they say, "Oh, no, you should have done that." So then you do that. Oh no, but that's not what we meant. Do that one. You do that one. Oh yeah, but the results still aren't what I want them to be. So do that. Oh, the whole show, that hour and an hour, it syncs up as well. Oh well no. And it's just I would be doing videos for the rest of my life, if I just spent time on one artist, and that's not what my channel's about. Like I said at the end of that video, I'm now moving on to the other requests that I have had. So yeah, there you go. That's Troll Corner for tonight. But there are other things that have come up on the channel recently where it'd be interesting to address a few things. I might do that next week, but they're more like a video. I'd have to spend a video talking about it rather than just on a live stream, because there are lots of different ins and outs to it. But anyway, that was Troll Corner for tonight, and let's get out of here, and I'll see you guys on the other side of this outro. See you then. Rock. And we're back to normal. So, there has been another donation in the PayPal window, and John has donated £22 and 21 pence. Thank you for that, John. The message is live chat support. Love your work, Phil. My favourite is The Boss. Pretty sure he sings live without support or processing. So, yes, I mean, from what I've seen, and I've seen actually quite a lot of The Boss, he does sing absolutely live, and some of his shows go on for hours. I know this because people have messaged me actually to do with what I was just talking about, where people say, oh, how can you expect somebody to perform live for 3.5 hours? People have referenced quite regularly The Boss and how long he actually performs for. So from what I've seen, absolutely live, and one of those artists who just does what he does, and take it or leave it. And that's why so many fans turn up to see the live shows, is because they know what they're going to get. It's going to be totally live, and sometimes one show will be different to another show, and then he'll play a song that he might not have played. I actually saw him ask the crowd at a show, which song do you want to hear? And then somebody was requesting, like at the front, and shouting out, obviously quite loudly, for him to hear a song that they hadn't played in like 30 years. And he said, we haven't done this in 30 years, but what key is it in? And then they're having a discussion, and then they figure out the key and say, right, so the chord change. It was a song that just had a basic blues progression, so it means that they could jump into it. But that kind of thing is great because it's just fully live, and something that is spontaneous as well. And fans know what they're going to get when they turn up. When you're watching an artist of that kind of caliber, and somebody who's done it for so many years and had such a successful career. So thank you for that, John. Right. So, Kyrie Lason has donated $5 in the super chat window. So thank you for this. And the message is, we need to hear Parisian Walkways, one of your best covers for those that don't know. So thank you for that. Now, maybe we can jump. I'm going to click on end poll, because I know it's close, but it might be Parisian Walkways for tonight. And it is indeed. So 51% of the vote for Parisian Walkways. So it was a close one, but we got there. So then we can now have a look at, and I know that we are maybe a little bit early, but it means that we have a little bit of time later on in the live stream to maybe have a riff of the week. We hadn't had one of those for a while, but also we need to try and get as many thumbs up as possible to have the Phil Jam. And number 221, we're looking for another, how many is that? It'd be like, what, 68 people, is it? So we're looking for another 68 people to hit the thumbs up. Maybe you could do that. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, it would be very much appreciated. We'll get maybe a little spike of the lights going on, but we will jump into my version of Parisian Walkways. I hope that you guys enjoy this, and I will see you after. Rock. Hello, thank you so much for watching my cover of Parisian Walkways. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a bit of a challenge playing it on my Fender rather than a Gibson like Gary Moore, of course. The names that you can see going up the screen here are the names of my patrons who I'd like to say a massive thank you to because they make these videos possible and my analysis videos possible as well. So thank you guys, you know who you are. If you want to get involved yourself, head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus or just click the Patreon box at the end of this video. But if I don't see you guys at the next live stream or the next cover video, then I'll see you guys at the next analysis video. So I'll see you then. Rock! And there we have it. And I mean, during that video, I lost sound. So it meant that I couldn't tell when the end of the video was. So therefore I just left the other bit at the end that's over on YouTube just to make sure I didn't cut out any of that particular cover video. But that was it. Parisian Walkways finally won out as the cover video for tonight. So thank you guys for voting for that. Now, if we are quick, we might be able to get in a riff of the week because we haven't had that in a while. And the reason that this might take quite a long time is because of we haven't got very many riffs left. But I did see that it's Ginny's birthday today, so happy birthday, Ginny. And I think Vince was messaging just during that particular cover video. So yeah, everybody say happy birthday to Ginny. And there was a message there. I think Ginny said, Wings of Pegasus, thank you for your birthday present or something like that. But I don't know what that refers to. But have a fantastic day. And yeah, hope that you get everything that you want. Not that I don't send things to people, so just because I know that people say, oh, it's my birthday, send me something. I don't send things. So, just to clear that up. Right, let's jump into maybe the riff of the week. Now, the problem with this is I'm going to have to do the screen capture for you guys to see and hear the riff in the first place, but I might be able to do it on the fly. I will see if I can do it. So what we do, or what we need to do, is the numbers. So you guys can post the numbers in the live chat room in order to then see if any of those pop up. Then we can do that. I'm just going to take them, from random out of that live chat room. So basically numbers between 1 and 100 if you don't know how this works. And I'm going to look through the list and see what we've had, what we haven't had, and then if we have one that is requested that we haven't had, then we'll jump into it. And then you've got to guess what the riff is. So Melody Rock says 75. We've had number 75. Angela 49. We've had 49. Susie Q says 2. We've had 2. Vicky 23. We've had 23. This could go on for a long time. So it's like a lottery. So somebody's going to win this lottery of picking the right number. And bang bang drummer 43. We've had number 43. It was close though. Right, they're going through quite quickly now. Oda made. What was that? 50? I don't know what that was. If it was 53, we've had 53. Got to see if I can find it. I can't find it anymore. So, I was going to say, Dorothy says 76. We had 76. So, I mean, there's a lot of numbers that are coming through and we keep on avoiding them. 33, Howard. Wow, we're hitting the post here, as they say. We've had a few requests that have been not the number, but the number next to the number. So Susie Q says 12. It's a close one, but not quite. Cindy says 45. That one wasn't close. No, we've had 45. Cheryl, 49. Not 49. Lisa, 61. Oh, not 61. And they're going through crazy. 11. Oh, it's another post. We've had number 11. So, look at these numbers. They're going crazy. 41. Oh, somebody said 41. I've lost the name. I think it was maybe Robert said 41. We haven't had 41. So Robert is the winner of the Riff lottery for tonight. So Riff of the Week 41. I mean, who knew that this would turn into a game of picking the lottery number of 41 and winning. So Riff of the Week 41. Now this is where I have to do a screen capture of the riff, and then it'll probably... Oh, it almost started playing there. It'll probably look totally random on the screen. So let me get that on screen, and then this, and we'll see where it appears. It's appeared off to the right-hand side. So let me see if I can grab it and move it over. Like that. So, right. I'll take it back to the beginning. We're looking for the name of this particular song. You can give me the artist if you want to. I don't know if I've got any sound, so I might not even be able to hear this. But let's press play and see what happens. And there we have it. And the way that it works is the first person that I see in the comment section to guess that right. And this is going to be one that I'm going to have to scroll up because I think everyone's going to get this. Let's scroll down a little bit because I'm seeing lots of correct answers. Let me move up here. And oh, by the way, Pam K36 says, why doesn't Phil have a list of the unused ones? That's exactly what I do have a list of. So when somebody says a number, I can look at the numbers and say, no, we've had that number, because I'm looking at all the numbers that haven't been used before. So anyway, there we go. Right, I'm just going to scroll up and maybe scroll down to see who got it first. I think it was Barbara on my screen who said TNT, which is the correct answer. So congratulations to Barbara. And then going through, yeah, Cindy said that as well. And Alison J. And Flynn said Dirty Deeds. Ninja Kitty Bonks said TNT. PN112 said Dirty Deeds. Susie Q said TNT. Joe said Aqualung, as always. Momo said TNT, and Lisa said Dirty Deeds. So, oh, hang on. I just realised that it's still on screen, and I haven't even gone back to me yet. So here we are. We're now back. So, yes, TNT was the correct answer. So Barbara was the first one to get that. So now we're looking for 19 more people to hit the thumbs up to have the Phil Jam to end the live stream with. And because it's 5 minutes and 4 seconds, if we try to factor in everything that, turning on the microphone and making sure the sound's working, all that kind of stuff, it will take us to the end of the live stream. Ninja Kitty Bonk says, I see Cindy as first. So, yeah, everybody's comment sections display differently. So this is why I say, well, it's just on my screen that it appears. So you might have somebody else's name above Barbara's, but on my screen, it's Barbara's that has gone above that. And my only, my only understanding of that is it's to do with servers and ping times, so that I get some people's messages before other people's messages because they've connected to the server more quickly. They might be or closer to a server that YouTube is using, and therefore it comes to my screen more quickly. So this is why, and we've had it before. Other people have said, oh, but I was before that person, and I've looked at it and said, well, no, you're underneath that person. So That's the way it works. So it's all to do with my screen. And them's the rules. Otherwise, because somebody say, oh yeah, no, I was above that other person, and then it's never ending. Everybody's screens are different. Everybody's comments sections are different. So anyway, yes, we are looking. Oh, we're looking for one more person to hit the thumbs up. So we will see if there's one person who hasn't hit the thumbs up. If you could do that, we'll bust out the guitar and we will have a jam. So we're now going to keep a close eye on that 509 to see if it changes. And 6 people suddenly press the thumbs up. So thank you guys for doing that. Let's bust out the guitar. Now, I can't remember if I was zoomed in or if I was zoomed out. I'm pressing the zoom out button and it's not doing anything. Oh, now the red dude's there, but it didn't change. So I must have been zoomed out for the whole live stream. Well, there you go. Right, mic on. Over to here. Click on this. Okay. Right, so get that in a decent place. This is smashing psychedelic rock jam guitar backing track E minor / 77 beats per minute in brackets. So yeah, for you tempo fanatics out there, you've got the BPM. Right, this is from, by the way, Now You Shred backing tracks, and that's with U, capital Y-O and U. So Now You Shred backing tracks. Right, so anyway, as for the levels, let me know what it's like. I'm going to let this play through. It's only 5 minutes this time, so have a listen. Wow, that was loud! Can't hear anything. What are the levels like? Can you hear this? And there we have it. And oh, I can just see that Joe says, beware the stupid sudden end. So there we go. That was it. The sudden stupid end happened. So there we go. Unfortunately, I don't know what was wrong with that, with the sounds, but yeah, it was all a bit weird with how loud my guitar was and the backing track, and the backing track was too loud to turn that down, and then the guitar was too loud, so then I tried to turn that up. So anyway, it was what it was. It just meant that I couldn't hear what I was playing very clearly. So hopefully it was a little bit relevant to the backing track, but thank you, Joe, for sending me that particular backing track. That was a smashing psychedelic rock jam guitar backing track, E minor /77 beats per minute, and the E minor /77 beats per minute is in brackets, and that's from Now You Shred Backing Tracks, and it's U in capital letters. So there we have it, and that's going to conclude tonight's live stream. So oh, there's been another donation, and it's Diamond Girl who has donated $2, so thank you for that. And the message is thanks. And Rocking Babe has donated $19.99, and that's their first super chat donation, so thank you for that. And the message is, sorry, PayPal isn't working for me today. Many fabulous guitar solos showcase the guitarist. Are they generally written by the guitarist to add to the song, or by the usual songwriter to please the guitarist? So thank you for that. And generally the guitarist is going to be writing their solos, and that's generally how it happens. Even if they're asked to collaborate with an artist on a particular song, yeah, the guitarist will just play what they play, and they've usually been hired for that particular reason, that the artist wants that guitarist to come up with one of their solos for the person's song, unless it's a session guitarist. So this is the difference, that a session guitarist is somebody who's employed to play what you tell them to play. So if a singer-songwriter has a particular solo that they want the guitarist to play, then they are employed to do that job. So that's the difference between a session musician and an independent musician, or an independent artist, a singer-songwriter, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, when they're playing their instrument, then they are coming up with what they're doing. So generally, like for example, Eddie Van Halen on Beat It, Michael Jackson got Eddie Van Halen in to play the solo, and yeah, Michael Jackson didn't say, okay, right, what I want you to do is start with a dive bomb and, you know, do some tapping, go up a little bit higher, and, you know, none of that. It's just, you know, he got in Eddie Van Halen to do the Eddie Van Halen thing. So, and this is the thing, that Eddie Van Halen wasn't a session guitarist, he was the guitarist in Van Halen. So yeah, that's kind of the way that it works. Obviously, you know, Van Halen just coming up with their own songs and solos and everything, and it's all original, but session musicians come in for other people. They are employed to play what you tell them. So anyway, there we have it. Thank you for that, and we are going to be calling things to a close. So I'm going to be here with that video tomorrow night. Look out for that one, the interview with Shirley Lewis. And I'm going to be here on Saturday night again for another live stream, and that's going to be at 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, as always. And I can see Curious Potato says, but session players also do their own thing. So yes, that's it. If sometimes somebody who's employing the session musician will say, just come up with something, or do that yourself. The only problem with that is if you're in the studio, it can lead to copyright issues, because a session musician might say, well, I came up with that riff, for example. Like a bass guitarist might say, well, I came up with that bass riff, and that's the you know, foundation of the whole song. But they were only paid for that particular session. They weren't given royalties or ownership of that particular riff in the song. So this is where it gets, yeah, a little bit more difficult. If session musicians come up with stuff when they're employed by another artist, then yeah, it gets very difficult. But of course, session musicians might be musicians and have their own projects themselves, and then do session work as, yeah, another income. So again, there's that side of it. But more often than not, yeah, session musicians aren't just going to turn up and start doing their own thing. They are going to be employed by the artist or the record label to play what they are asked to do. Yeah, generally record labels are quite strict with letting session musicians come up with stuff, or they do let them come up with stuff, but they know that they've got a contract that covers the session musician for the session. Because if they receive money for, say it's a 4 or 5 hour session of recording, and the session guitarist gets paid a flat fee for that. So if they come up with loads of great stuff, great riffs, and those all make it into the studio version of the song, the session musician only gets paid for those 4 or 5 hours. They don't get the royalties because they have agreed to play, and whatever they play in that 4 or 5 hours they are paid for. So this is why, yeah, it can get quite complicated, and why, yeah, if you're going into a studio session and you're coming up with lots of stuff, yeah, it almost makes more sense to say, well, yeah, just play what you're asked to play, rather than coming up with something that's amazing and you'll get nothing for it for the rest of your life. So yeah, but that's the whole copyright landscape in a nutshell. So anyway, yes, thank you guys for tuning in tonight, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you on Saturday if you can make it. Like I said, 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, I will be here just doing another live stream, but look out for the video tomorrow night. And all that's left for me to say is try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!